Hello everyone and welcome back to This Is Real Life. I'm your host Sheri, and on today's DIY Wednesday video, we're in the garage. Ignore my messy workbench because we are gonna solve a problem that I'm sure many of you, like me, have. Today, we are going to make ourselves our very own custom hose holder. I know, everybody's cheering. It does sound a little silly because yes, you can purchase hose holders online, and surprisingly, they're not very expensive. However, I have issues with a lot of hose holders out there. Number one, those big plastic ones with the crank. Those don't work very well. I've tried them. I have friends that have them. We all hate them. Number two, the hose holders that you can mount that basically are just like a round thing that you can mount on the wall. Those are horrible as well. I know, because I have one in the front of my house, and the part where you have to wrap the hose around is so small that the hose kinks. So when you want to water, you have to undo the entire hose. Even though you just want to water something that's right next to the hose bib, you have to undo the entire hose in order to get all the kinks out so that you can water. And then when you roll it back up, kinks happen again. Number three, the hose holder I want comes with stakes. Unfortunately, where my hose bib is covered in cement, so stakes aren't gonna work for me. So I decided we're building one. And even though they're cheap, fairly cheap, we're still gonna build one for cheaper.
Does this ever happen to you?
I just got done watering and now I have to coil my hose back in. Ugh, it's such a pain. Because I don't have a good hose holder, this is what I have to do every time I water. Ugh. Oh, I knocked down one of my solar lights. It just takes so long. It's so cumbersome. And when the hose is tangled, forget about it. Ugh. Oh, hold on. I need to go straighten out my hose so I can coil it up better. Not only does it take forever, but this is unsightly. There's gotta be a better way. Now, the hose holder that I am modeling my design after, the inspiration, if you will, comes from the Home Depot. Now, this one is a little more expensive than others I have seen online that are similar. It says it's typically $79. I copied the measurements, and you know me, I went into Excel and I made my own diagram as well as my own cut list. And here it is.
Impressive. Very nice.
So for my hose holder, all I needed to purchase was one 1x2x8 furring strip and two 2x2x8 furring strips. And I believe each one of those cost me like $4. So we're into it for like $12 and some screws and maybe some stain or paint. I'm gonna get down my chop saw. Now, if you don't have a chop saw, don't worry. Do you have a jigsaw? Do you have a handsaw? Do you have a circular saw? Any of those saws would work. And if you don't have any saw at all, if you bring your cut list to the people at the Home Depot, they'll cut your pieces for you. According to my cut list, out of my 1 inch by 2 inch by 8 foot furring strip, I need to cut 6 at 16 inches long. So I'm gonna mark everything first at 16 inches, and then I'll move on to my markings for my 2x2x8s, and then we'll just assembly line cut everything. Okay, I've got my chop saw set up so we can start making our 16-inch cuts, which we need 6 of out of our 1x2x8 foot board. And if we've measured everything correctly, we should not have any leftover wood. Okay, well, don't ask me how this happened, but 5 of my 6, perfect, the same. The last cut, it ended up shorter. Don't ask me how, but since this is a custom design, I'm just gonna whack off this much from all of these boards. I've clamped them together so I could set them on my chop saw this way, line up my blade, and just whack these off so they're all the same. So they're gonna be a little bit less than 16 inches. The shortness of this one probably has to do with the thickness of the blade that I did not account for when I was measuring. Also probably has to do with the fact that this board was probably not exactly 8 feet long. So no big deal. I'm gonna make these all the same, and then we'll start cutting our 2x2x8s. And voila. Easy, easy. So let's move on to our other cuts. So for my first 2x2x8, I need to make 4 cuts, 2 at 44 inches and 2 at 4 inches. Even though I have it marked on the board, I'm gonna make my first 44-inch cut and then remeasure for my second 44-inch cut to make sure those are both the same. Yeah, let's get to cutting some more. Okay, that one was easy. This last one it has quite a few cuts at quite a few different measurements. So for my last 2x2x8, I need 1 at 4 inches, 1 at 5 inches, 1 at 1 inch, 2 at 7 inches, 2 at 3 inches, 2 at 6 inches, and 1 at 18 inches. And if all goes well, I will have 36 inches left over, saving for another project. Okay, so all cuts are made. We have 6 at 16 inches. Those are out of the 1x2s. We have 2 at 44 out of the 2x2s, 1 at 18, 2 at 7, 2 at 6, 1 at 5, 3 at 4, 2 at 3, and 1 at 1. And those are all out of the 2x2s. And then I have a 35-inch piece of 2x2 left over in case I messed up anywhere. So now we just need to lay it all out, get some wood glue, get some screws, get our drill, and start to building. Okay, here it is, all laid out, ready for me to drill, glue, and screw. First, I want to start building, I guess, the back side. So I'm gonna take away all of these. I have 2 drills, one fixed with a drill bit, the other one with my screw bit, so I can drill, glue, and screw without having to change my bits around. So let's get all of these things out of the way that we will not be working on right now, and let's just get this back frame built. We need our 2 44-inch long 2x2s and 2 of our 16-inch 1x2s. Now, the 16 inchers are gonna go on the inside of our 44 inchers. This top one is all the way at the top. This one here is exactly 6 inches from the bottom. So I'm gonna put my 6-inch dudes down here lined up so I know where this one is supposed to fall. I'm just gonna make a little mark here and a little mark here so that I know. Again, we are going to pre-drill, glue, and screw. And before you know it, with 4 screws, we'll pretty much have the back part all done. Okay, so now that we have our back part glued and screwed, let's do the front bottom portion that's gonna help it stand up and be sturdy. So for that, we're gonna use 2 of our 3-inch 2x2s, 2 of our 6-inch 2x2s, and 1 of our 16-inch 1x2s. Our 3-inch blocks are going to mount here on either side, like so. Our 6-inch block is going to mount to the underside, so we're gonna screw in top down. That will give us our front foot. Then once we have that done, we're gonna take our 16-inch 1x2 and mount that to match this one, probably like that. And then this thing should stand up. Guys, I messed up. I messed up on my own drawing, and I don't know why I didn't see it before I glued and screwed everything, but the distance between here and here is not enough to give this any support. Yeah, it stands up, but it's gonna tip forward.
It's not very structurally sound.
This piece needs to be on the top of this piece. I need to unscrew this. Plus, I need to unscrew this because it won't match the base here. So I have to lower this down. I just really have to redo everything I just did. So, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, I have the base redone. Now it's definitely more sturdy standing up, which is good. So now I just need to take my 16-inch piece and put that in between here, like so. Okay, now that we have basically the whole base built, I'm gonna build out the rectangle that's in front that's gonna like hold the hose as we wrap it around. And for that, I'm going to use my 2 7-inch 2x2s and 2 of my 16-inch 1x2s. And basically, I'm just gonna glue and screw them together in a rectangle. And with some other riggery in here, we're gonna be able to wrap our hose around it. So I'm gonna build this rectangle now. I have my rectangle built, and I was just mapping it out to make sure my drawing made sense to me. And I think it does. What we need to do first, we need to build this little L out of our 5-inch piece and our 4-inch piece. So I'll show you. This is not in here yet. I've only just built this rectangle. Put that to the side. What we're gonna focus on first is this little L, which is gonna be very easy. This is my 5-inch long piece. This is my 4-inch piece. All I wanna do is glue and screw them together just like this. Pre-drill, glue, screw in from the back, and then we'll have our little L, which then is gonna mount to this top board here in the center. Once we have that in place, then we can line up our rectangle, our little 1-inch spacer, put in our side brackets. This is our 18-inch board that is gonna be used for our support under here, just to hold the weight of the hose. And yeah, I think we'll be done. I've got my little L screwed together and glued in from the top at the center. I did use 2 screws to go in from the top here. Everything else, I've just been using 1 screw and wood glue, obviously. But for here, because there's gonna be a lot of hose weight, I did use 2 screws from the top. Nothing is looking straight to me, and I think it's because this board has a knot here and it's making it cattywampus. I'm hoping that when I get my rectangle, everything will like straighten out a little bit, but also it could be crooked. Whatever, it's fine. Now, this is my last 16-inch 1x2. I know that I want it to rest evenly along the bottom of my 4-inch L, and I want to draw a line because my little 1-inch dude, it is my spacer that I want to put on top of my 4-inch dude, because stay with me here now. Our little rectangle that we built earlier is actually going to sit on this little 1-inch piece, and then our little 16-inch will be here, and then we will have 2 4-inch pieces here holding that together. It's gonna kind of look like this. Do you see what it's gonna kind of look like? I know. Stick with me. It's all gonna work out. Fingers crossed. So right now what I wanna do, glue, pre-drill, and get this screwed in here. Then I'm gonna place my rectangle on and get my 2 4-inch pieces lined up and get that screwed on. Then lastly, I'll put in this little board here. Well, it's technically not lastly, because we do have an 18-inch board that I am going to mount underneath my 4-inch boards, just as added support from the weight of the hose. I mean, again, according to my drawing and according to my head, it's all working out. Okay, so for the most part, we're done. I had everything built. However, I did have some wood splitting casualties, even though I pre-drilled. So my little 1-inch spacer right here, that split. So I don't have the screws all the way screwed in. I did fill in wood glue, and you can see I've got it clamped to all get out. I'm waiting for that before I can screw those screws in all the way. I also, this 4-inch piece here had a huge knot in it that I really didn't realize. And so when I started screwing, the knot split. So I shoved a bunch of wood glue into the knot, and I've also got that clamped, but I do have the screw firmly in. And I mean, come on, even though it's like clamped and not fully screwed in all the way in just this one spot, it's really sturdy. I was worried it wasn't going to be that sturdy, but it is really sturdy. My only concern with my design, I'm hoping that the weight of the hose does not tip it forward. This only comes out 1 more inch than the base, but I do have that extra 35-inch piece that once we get the hose on it, if I feel like it's a little bit tippy, then I could add a little extension to the bottom here so that it makes it a little bit more stable, but I'm kind of hoping that won't be necessary. So rather than sit here and watch glue dry, I thought I could start sanding everything smooth, just a rough sand, just to knock down some of the sharp edges. And then my plan is I want to stain. So while I'm waiting for glue to dry, I think I'm just gonna sand everything. And then hopefully by the time I get done sanding, the glue is dry enough to where I can take the clamps off and then screw these 2 screws in all the way. And then we can stain everything and then put the hose on. But I mean, come on, for $12, do you see the vision? The hose will wrap around here, come up here, wrap down there, and it'll just be this loop-de-loo like this. And once it's all cute and stained like everything else in the backyard, I mean, so yeah. Oh, I put the support in at the bottom, so this support makes this part really sturdy. I mean, it's sturdier than I imagined. Like, look, I'm putting weight on it. I am pressing more heavily than I think a hose weighs, and this isn't moving, it's not creaking, it's not doing anything. So I'm pretty impressed with my design, even though I did get inspiration from an actual hose holder. Their measurements worked out great, and made out of wood, I just think it's gonna be cuter with everything in my backyard that's already wood. So yeah, I'm gonna sand and stain. Okay, it's the next day, and I've brought the hose holder out to the spot. Now, the ground where I want the hose holder to go is not that level, and one of the feet is not exactly touching the ground. I'll show you. We might have to shim it, or maybe when the weight of the hose gets on it, it'll change it, but I'll show you. So yay, here it is in place. Looks cute. Stained the same, super cute. But one of these front feet, see? It's not exactly touching the ground because obviously this is not that level, but maybe the weight of the hose will help that out. So I'm gonna put the hose on it and we'll see if that makes a difference, or if I need to like get a shim or do something, make some extended legs like I talked about yesterday. So let me try to get that organized and then I'll let you know what's going on. Okay, so I got the hose all around it. It actually looks really good. It still is a little bit like cattywampus-y wobbly, but the weight of the hose is keeping it in place. I'm just worried about when I unravel it and then wind it back up, if that's gonna be a little bit tippy. I may consider putting some extended feet on it, but I kind of want to live with it first because right now it looks really good. Dun, 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 dun. I mean, that looks so much better than having my hose just piled up on the floor right there. So I can like clean this ground area now. Everything looks cute. I really like it. And because I'm able to do like more of like a big hula hoop, I feel like the hose won't get as kinked when I'm pulling it out and wrapping it back around. So fingers crossed. I just got done watering my lawn and now I have to coil up my hose, but it should be easy with my new hose holder. With this new taller design, I don't have to bend down anymore. My knees are safe, my back is safe, and my hose is safe. Let's just coil it around. Oh, the ease of it all. I can't get over it. I'm not even straightening out my hose. It's just dragging along. This is so easy. I love it. And it looks good too. Didn't even knock down my solar light. And voila, in seconds, my hose is coiled, my knees don't hurt from crouching down, my back doesn't hurt from hunching over, all thanks to this DIY hose holder. Okay, so I am loving it, but in all seriousness, I do think I need to, just because of the pavers that it's standing on, even with the weight of the hose, it's a little wobbly, and I'm nervous that if I don't uncoil the hose all of the way, and then like I'm in the far part of the yard and I pull, this whole thing's gonna come down. So because it's on unstable ground, I probably am going to take that 35-inch piece that we had left over of the 2x2 and cut maybe, I don't know, whatever, this much, just so I have some extension in the front to help it from not falling forward. But if you guys had like a level area where tipping wasn't an issue, you could just keep this design. But yeah, I love it. And to think, it literally was 3 pieces of wood, a couple cuts, then screw it together. And guys, I just used the inspiration, opened up an Excel spreadsheet on my computer and started making lines and creating rectangles. And the funny thing is I have a friend named Tom who is a very, very smart guy. And he was like, I could never do that. I'm like, seriously, it's lines. It's just lines. Anybody could do it. I just made lines to find my measurements, to find how much wood I would need to buy. It's not some, you know, crazy CAD file I'm using. Honestly, even if you didn't have a computer, you know me and my notepad, just start drawing lines on a notepad, figuring it out. It's pretty easy. And again, very little skill. If you guys have a hose situation like I had and nothing is working out for you, $12, some screws and some leftover stain, and you can have this. And it looks cute. Like, it matches everything in my yard. I love it. And I know you can do it too. So yeah, if you like this video, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel. Make sure you ring that notification bell so that you are alerted to all of the DIY videos I push out, which is every other Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time. Make sure you share this video with your family and friends. Give it a hype if you have one to spare. And as always, thanks for hanging out. I love this. I really love this.